Okay, I'll go ahead and call to order the regular meeting for March 19th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our mission statement is Learning for Life, and vision statement is Southgate Community Schools, the best choice for students and parents. Brings us to the approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion on the agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Support by Ms. Angel. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have an agenda. And the first one is presentations, continuity of learning plan confirmation.
Yes, as part of our ESSER requirements for ESSER 3, we do have to confirm that the mode of instruction that we're using at this time is the mode of instruction that the board supports ongoing. And in this case, our plan at this point in time, students will attend 5 full days in person. That's our plan. As it moves forward, we do have an option for virtual. The students may move from remote or from virtual to in person as they choose. They are not, once in virtual, they can return to in person if they would like. And there is a team of parents, teachers, and administration to discuss whether or not virtual is appropriate for an in-person student that's there. We are continuing to support social, emotional, mental health needs. We're using available grant funds. One of the things that we've done to help support attendance is to increase our extracurricular activities. We do not require testing, COVID testing, quarantine, or vaccinations for athletics or for school attendance, and we have protocols in place. We do continue to daily report cases of COVID to the health department, and we do not require face coverings, but we also do not prohibit them. So those are all part of the responsibilities that we have. We do not require health screenings, and as the health department lifts requirements of isolation and quarantine, the district will lift them as well. So at this point in time, I believe the health department is moving towards no longer requiring any kind of isolation for COVID like they did in prior months and years. So we will conform accordingly. So that is ours, and hearing and understanding that this is our current mode of operation. In the event that that is not the path that you would want us to take, we would choose a different path. But at this point, we'll assume that we're confirming that.
Any questions?
So how long are we required to report this to them?
We are required to have these kinds of confirmations, or at least presentations to say this is what we're doing, until the end of our ESSER money, which is June 30th, 2024. So this is when our money then is done. We'll have everything has to be expended by September, I believe, of that year. And we expect, we're not in this round of ESSER audits, but we expect to be in the fall round of ESSER audits. So this confirmation has come in other forms over the last couple of years, like when Mr. Lindsay was offering information about how our kids were doing. That was part of our confirmation, and so that's been our ongoing.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right. On to citizens' comments. Any member of the public would like to speak tonight? We'll close the public comment. Brings us to G, the consent agenda, which consists of minutes of the March 5th, 2024 regular meeting and the HR update. I will entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes. action items next, and the first is the approval of the USAC E-rate fiber maintenance contract.
Good evening. I'm Amy Mitchell, Director of Technology. Each year, we receive E-rate funding that allows us to get 80% back of our funding that we have to spend on certain projects and certain services. So we only pay 20%, we get 80% back. One of those is our fiber maintenance agreement. Our fiber network is around the whole city, and we were approved last year from you to get a rebuild of our fiber network so that it provides a lasting 40 years of network connectivity between our buildings for internet, phones, and data. This year, our contract for those, for any type of repairs is up this year, and then it goes for another 3 years before we have to bring it back to the board. So this year, we are asking for an approval of a 3-year contract with FiberLink, who is a company that is actually doing the fiber rebuild. The E-rate consultant said that the bid for Turnkey, who is our current provider, was not compliant with what was requested in the bid, so he suggested that we go with FiberLink, as they will know our network better because it's now being rebuilt by them, and they're also closer to home, so if we do have a problem, it will receive service faster.
Any questions for staff?
That's $116,000 per year. We have to budget for 20% because we'll get 80% of that $116,000 back, and that's only if we use it. And because it's being rebuilt, they don't foresee us using it. There will be occasional monthly bills because if they have to do mistig, if somebody's building or needing to know where things are, we have some underground, but we don't have very much underground from what they were telling me. And then there's also relocating that they have to do if they have to take the fiber from one pole to the other. So we'll have some small charges, but it won't be anywhere near that.
Thank you.
Good evening. Can Turnkey tell us about, I mean, was there a reason that we had them before? Did they feel like they needed to bid, if they're a ways away, did they, it just seemed really odd, it just seems really odd, you know, follows within the requirements if you've already been a vendor of ours, so to speak.
The vendor was supposed to provide us with 100 hours of service, and they chose not to because we haven't come anywhere close to that, but that was what was the compliance of the bid, and they chose not to.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 1.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the USAC E-rate fiber maintenance contract as presented.
I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Support.
Mr. Green. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the approval of the fiscal year 24 spring budget amendment.
Good evening, everyone. In your packet, you should have received a draft of the proposed amended 2023-24 amended budget.
Ms. Wilson, I do want to highlight that there is a singleton draft that has been provided to you at the top of the stack that you had at your desk area, and that's a revised version. We had a small correction.
So this proposed general operating budget is based on the following new assumptions since the amended operating budget that was approved November 28th of 2023. Largely, we have additional revenue, and the reason for that is increased interest due to the current market. Our final accounting of Beacon for 22-23 was just recognized in our March state aid reimbursements. The general fund reimbursement increase is based on the increased state funding to special education, which, if you recall, went from 75% then to 100%. And we have some Act 18 reimbursement funds from Wayne County RESA regarding 22-23 again, and it was based on transportation and unfunded reimbursement to the programs itself. So in addition, we had some additional expenses where we had increased transportation costs projected due to McKinney-Vento charges. We have increased staffing due to general education and special education increases. We have increased expenditures in the general administration function for transition support in Power School, pupil accounting, and benefits. We also have increased budgeted expenditures for business leadership and accounting transition. Increased expenditures due to retirement severances. Increased budgeted expenditures in curriculum for new elementary math curriculum purchases. And overall, you'll see that our projected general fund balance as a percentage of the 22-23 expenditures is 30.1%, according to our board policy. And we also want to just make a note that the final amount is expected to increase further in the final amendment as the district receives all of its state and federal grant money and reclassifies some of the general fund impacts for delayed distributions.
Any questions?
I'll just say this is a tremendously healthy board. And even though some of this, a lot of this money is one-time money, this is really a good, strong position to be in, going into the uncertainty of the future. So, thank you, Bob.
Seeing no questions, bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 2.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 24 spring budget amendment as presented.
Motion by Dr. Pomponio, is there support?
Support.
Save. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Action item number 3, approval of the purchase of a garish baseball field infill material.
Hello, I'm Jason Kennedy, Director of Operations. Today before you, I bring to you, the city doesn't have a place for our 7th and 8th graders to play or practice baseball this year. They're actually renovating one of their fields. So, in order for Davidston 7th and 8th graders to practice, we need to renovate the baseball field at Garish. Our grounds team will be doing the work, so this is just for material only, and we'll be doing all the labor and for the renovation. To complete this project, we're asking for 6 train loads of baseball crusher dust infill material. Wolverine Contractors has submitted a price for that to deliver the product, and also haul away 5 train loads of debris that we're going to excavate. So our plan is to scrape off 4 inches of what's there to get rid of the grass and get down below the weed grass root bed, because Mother Nature has taken this ball field back. We have a what's called a skeleton, the backstop. We've got new bases we purchased. We're going to put in. So pending on the weather, we'd like to do this work next week over spring break. When Garish is gone, we want to use their parking lot to bring the infill material and stage it as we take out the material from the ball field, load it into the gravel trains, and bring the material onto the field. We're going to crown the field, which means for better drainage. Right now, it's almost like a swimming pool when it rains. It holds the water, and it's unplayable. So we're going to crown the field, put some more infill on, so it drains off the sides and the edges. This will be a middle school field only, which means the bases will be set for middle school. If you decide we want to expand it to high school, middle schools, and it's different base anchors, different bases, different pitching rubbers because of the distances that they're set. So Wolverine is, we're proposing that 6 train loads of baseball crusher dust to be delivered and 5 train loads to be hauled away and dumped. 15 carts load over $15,365. So it's our recommendation the board approve the purchase. And this will come from bond funding. Questions?
Is there comparable companies for these kind of stuff?
This is the cheaper product. It's not what you see at Anderson. Not the Durag mix, the red clay, the crusher dust is what you see similar to the ball fields for the city. It's more of a limestone. We have them set up as a vendor in our system, and this is material only. So we're doing the work. So we're just asking for the approval of the total cost for the materials so we can get this hopefully done next week, pending any snowstorms or massive rain that will bury our equipment in the field when we're working on it. Hopefully not. Calling for a lot of rain next week. Fingers crossed. So.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Yes.
So we're making this just renovating the dirt infield, correct?
Correct. We're going to roll the outfield to smooth out the outfield. So we're going to take the crown out. Right now there's a huge crown on the outfield leading from the infield to the outfield. And we're going to lessen the crown. So right now it's taking on water and we wanted to pitch the water away. So with some equipment and some excavation, the grounds team is going to level out the field and crown the field with the infill material so it drains better than what there is now.
So if we're gonna do this, and I'm just, I know a little bit about this sport. My suggestion for you guys to think about is make sure we have the dirt for that 80 feet to go to 90, because it's not that hard in the dirt infield to add 3 pegs and a portable pitching mount.
Correct.
And if we do that, just don't cut off the dirt at 70 feet, because for another 10 feet, if we're spending this kind of money, the opportunity's there for our 9th grade to play there in the future instead of having to rent a city field. No offense to the city, but we have to bus our 9th grade over to Boyle anyway to play games and practice. So would we rather think about having our own property for our own teams?
We are planning to build DMS fields next year. We are in an emergency situation for this year. If, I guess I'd have to ask Mr. Hardy if the specs that we're using to determine how much infill or fill that we're getting, is that limited to a 70 or 80 yard fill? Is it 70 yards?
So we would like 4 train loads, but it could, we're asking for 6. So we got to level it out. So we have 2 extra train loads figured. The price could be less, but this is this is what we think.
So if this would still give us enough material to do 90 yards, or to do the
90 feet.
90 feet?
90 feet. I think so, but I want to verify that before I say a hard yes. But we will plan on.
You and I can walk out.
Yeah.
It's just a simple measure.
Yeah, our grounds guy, Dan, will be able to measure it, and so I don't want to stand here and promise, yes, it'll be exact.
And you're looking about facility rentals and this and that also in the future. If you make that a field, you got little league tournaments and stuff, it could be advantageous also, as long as you don't lock it into one thing.
Yes.
It's just a thought.
And this is just for baseball. Currently, there is a softball field, if you want to look at that, too, at Garrett. But this is baseball currently.
Any other questions for staff? Seeing none, bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 3.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of the Garrish baseball field infill material as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Or by Mr. Long? Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. All right, next item is the approvals of the purchase of new cafeteria tables for Anderson.
We're proposing to purchase new cafeteria tables for Anderson Cafeteria. The existing tables are from 2001, and attached proposal from Interior Environments will provide us the layout and design. Tables do have a 13-year warranty against mechanical or structural failure due to defective material and/or workmanship or normal multi-shift use. The pneumatic cylinders are covered for the functional life of the chair or stool for these tables. Currently, there is existing 540 seats in the Anderson cafeteria. With the new tables, we'll have 552 seats. In the past year, we've repaired 30 seats on the tables we currently have, just in the past year alone. Our plan is to take the tables that are in decent condition and put them throughout the district at other schools. So I look at Davidson, for example. Davidson has existing 16 rectangular tables and 15 round for a total of 312 seats currently. Rectangular tables, Davidson would like to replace those and make them all round and to give them more seating options and not so long of a run, because they feel that less students at more tables would be easier to manage for the cafeteria. So they're totally, existing tables, there needs to be 216 seats replaced at Davidson, and we'd have enough from Anderson to replace those 216 seats. That's about 27 tables. So that'll leave us right around 20 tables for the rest of the schools. I had time to look at Davidson. I didn't go to Ford Line Shelters, but they all have the same style table. So I'd like to replace the worst with Anderson and not just throw them away. So it's our recommendation the Board of Education approve the purchase of new cafeteria tables. The color that has been selected is gray nebula with its own legs. The existing tables are in decent condition, will be used throughout the district to replace tables that are worse for wear. Purchase amount $362,428.16. It is billed into contingency. It's coming from the buying fund. They are to deliver the tables. The company has direct to the site and put the tables together on site. And then we will take the tables that we want to keep and disperse them throughout the district by doing the audit first of what tables are worse at what schools. Questions?
The replacements we make at the other schools are the A, we're replacing A for B, what? I just use Grover, for example. One table even from Grover, is sellable to someone for partial money back, or some money back, or are they just going to the
So I have to do an audit at the schools. If the tables are in bad condition, the seats are plastic, I'd like to salvage the seats so we have repair seats for all the tables across the district. And that's one thing, we ran out of seats at Anderson because we replaced 30 this year. So we want to part out some of the tables, casters, seats, so we have repairs for tables that are in decent condition. We got to look at the welds. Some of the welds break, so when you pick the table up, it don't stay in place. It wants to fall down. If the tables are not worth repairing or near, I don't want to call liability, but near the, what it's worth, we're gonna part them tables out and then possibly scrap the tables. And if we have an overabundance of decent tables, we can look at selling those tables.
I was just looking for, so it sounds like the due diligence part.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for. We're not just not going to take it and say, dump it, even though we can use parts. So we're going to, okay, that's fine. That answered my question. Thank you.
Well, my concern is safety, so if we're getting new tables because of the repair of all those seats, is there any safety concern, those tables that you're using to take and put other schools, is that gonna be an issue? Because if it's not safe for Anderson, you're getting new would it be okay?
What's happening now, I believe, is the tables aren't rated for high school kids. We don't have as many repairs at Davidson, and we have 8 round tables, let's see, we have 15 round tables there that match what's at Anderson currently. We've done 2 repairs at Davidson versus 30 at Anderson. So I believe it's a style table, it's the way to the high school students, or how they're being treated. Maybe they're being picked up more every day and moved because there's cheer and wrestling and all that going on in the cafeteria. I understand there's wrestling at Davidson, but we're not, it's not a safety issue. We're not going to move these tables. I don't believe there's a safety issue with moving them from Anderson to other schools. To answer your question, I think it's the way to the students, and that's why they're breaking more often than Anderson than anywhere else across the district.
So is it just the seats, or is there anything to do with the metal parts?
Well,
Opening
a lot
and
of it, a lot of it's a seat repair. They sit on a spindle, and the kids like to twist and break the bolts and the plastic off, and then the seat comes off, and then you just have a spindle sticking up, which is unsafe. So the heavier the student, the more easy it is to break those seats. Sometimes I think it's a game, you know. The metal parts currently, there's nothing unsafe on the tables currently. It's just some of them are harder to lift because the age of the tables. Some of them, the latch mechanisms we're replacing or repairing more often underneath the table that hold them in place up against a wall so they don't flop open.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we want to part and piece the tables out to ensure all the tables are in great working order.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Sage.
Yeah, same thing. Well, you mentioned the word liability, which is the concern.
Right.
With the seats that you've installed, that you replaced, are they stable? How long have they lasted? Have you had to replace it and replace it again, or have the ones you've replaced, have they been okay so far?
Yes, they've been okay so far. And what we've done in the past, we've had some tables that are just totally junk. We've taken the seats off, you know, and the companies sell these seats. I can order them right now, brand new seats for these tables online. So they're not discontinued seats by any means.
And the new tables, how are they structurally different than the old tables?
The tables are not individual round seats. They're rectangular tables, so they're bench seats.
So is it similar to the ones at Davidson that are the bench seats?
Similar, yes. And there is well, it's not a very good design, but you can kind of see the layout of the Anderson cafeteria and the seats. Now, we also gave 10 ADA tables. We're mixing into the Anderson tables. That means the table's longer on one end for ADA wheelchairs to pull up to the table. So we've put more tables there at Anderson.
When I was looking at the picture, my concern was if Davidson wants to go with the round tables so it's easier to watch the students, are these tables going to be a problem at Anderson with the older students?
I had the high school team on selecting these tables from the very beginning, and they actually prefer the style table versus a round or oblong table. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 4.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of new cafeteria tables for Anderson as presented.
Okay, a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Support. Support by Mr. Sage. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. And the last action item tonight, approval of the carpet replacement in the Davidson Counseling Office.
Yes, so the counseling office at Davidson needs some new carpet. And there was two ways we looked at this. We did, Cones Commercial Flooring gave us a price for, carpet and install, and I also went on the consortium pricing to see if we could buy the carpet direct, any cheaper, and then have a contractor install it. So it's our nation to replace the carpeting counseling office at Davidson Middle School. We've received this consortium pricing direct from Shaw. We use Shaw carpeting throughout the district, Shaw flooring. These are carpet squares, similar to what we've been installing in the rest of the district. And Cones flooring. Cones have proposed to provide material and labor for the counseling office, including demo, prep, carpet, base, the reducers. Carpet will be Shaw temp tile, 4-inch base, color burnt umber. Install only if bought with consortium pricing. The carpet and install total both for $7,537 with contingency. The material alone was $5,220 on consortium for the pricing of the carpet if we bought it direct. Our recommendation, the board chooses option number 1 in the amount $8,287 to be paid through bond funds for the install of the carpeting at Davidson Counseling Office. Upon approval, they are able to do this over spring break. The carpet's in stock. So we'd like to do this next week if you approve it.
Any questions for staff?
Who's installing?
Cones Commercial Flooring.
Okay.
And they have done work throughout the district.
So the
and,
warranty will stand with them or with the manufacturer?
the manufacturer warranties the carpet and they will warranty their install.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, I'll bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 5.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the carpet replacement in the Davidson Counseling Office as presented.
I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Support. Support by Mr. Lamas. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you. Last item on the agenda is a motion to adjourn. I'll entertain a motion.
President,
Green.
motion to adjourn.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Green. Is there support? Oh, support on Miss Angel. She beat you. Darlene, you had your chance.
I was slow with that one.
Do it.
Any discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.